Hi, this is Steve with HomeStrung Jewelry, and today we're going to be making this necklace from a kit that we're just now putting onto our website. It goes together quickly, it's easy to do, and it's practically toolless. This project came about because we were running a contest on the Gemstone Orphanage Facebook group, and we needed an extra prize. And so Debbie and I looked around and we found these cool old go-go beads, which are getting a little hard to find, I guess. They're like a donut with an offset hole, but they make just a great boho chic style, necklace. And we had plenty of them so we could offer as prizes and thought others might be interested. So we put together a kit for the winners, which were also going to be made available through our website, and the link will be down in the description. But in that kit, and of course you're welcome to, use any materials that you have, but in that kit we have this go-go bead, which is a Mauchon jade. It comes in different colors, and we'll just be randomly picking them for the kits. And then we have one big hole bead. The Mauchon jade, by the way, is about 48 millimeters or 1 7/8 inch. And then we have this big hole bead right here. It's a Pandora style with like a 5 millimeter hole in it. There's one of those. There's a couple of these extra metal beads. We have different shapes in that, which we'll be including in the kit. It's a little bit smaller hole, but not by much. And then we've got like 48 inches of this 2 millimeter satin cord. And in the project here I'm going to be showing you today, I'm just going to use knots to make the whole thing, but some of you might be interested in finishing it up with some findings in that. So we've got a couple of cord ends in here, we've got a lobster clasp, and a couple of jump rings, and I'll show you how to do that as well. But I'm going to be mostly just using knots for this project. Okay, to begin, there's two sides to this go-go bead. Also an interesting thing is there's actually a hole that goes through the top edge. You're welcome to, put a head pin and some sort of a dangle down through there or attach a bell. But today we're just going to be using cord, and we'll pretty much cover that up, but it's there if you need it. Anyway, take the go-go bead and you pick the side, because these are two-sided. Pick the side that you think is most interesting, which we're going to go with this one right here. And then let's take our cord. Now I'm going to use, this cord is actually a little shorter than the 48 inches, just because I cut it off that way. I wasn't thinking. But we're going to go right down and find the halfway point. And then we're going to run the cord down through the hole in the go-go and then pull it up, and there we have a lark's head knot. And you could quit right there, but I prefer to have like a double lark's head. And so I'm going to go back to the end of the cord, and we're going to run it back through the hole in the bead and back up through this lark's head loop at the top. And the closer you can keep these two ends together, the better it will be as far as waste when you get to the end of the cord. And let's try to keep all these cords together so that they don't overlap, which of course I say that and then they do. So we just twist it around so we have a nice clean, 4 cords there together. This loop here is in the front, and so it's just nice and clean. There's the back, here's the front. Okay, next thing we're going to do is we're just going to tie a knot. There's all sorts of fancy knots. Let's see how close I got this to the end. Not too bad. We won't have a lot of waste there. And the reason I'm using this whole 48, that's actually about 46 inch length, is because every time we tie one of these knots, we're going to lose length. And overall, if you're using the just the knots like I'm going to, you're actually going to lose about 40 inches worth of the cord between the knotting and the overlaps and things. So if you want, you know, a 24-inch necklace, you know, to 20, you're going to need 44 inches of cord. And of course, we're going to have a slider on here, so we need a little bit more than that. Now, if you're just going to be fastening the cord ends and putting a clasp on it, the knots are going to use up about 12 inches. So like if you wanted a 22-inch necklace, you're going to need 34 inches of cord and maybe a little bit more just in case the two ends don't match up here at the end and you need to trim things off. So just be aware of that. With the cord ends and the clasp, you're going to lose about 12 inches, 20 inches if you're going to do knots only. Okay, next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to tie an overhand knot. I thought about using fancier knots, but let's just keep it easy. And we're going to tie an overhand knot. I can put it right up here close, or we can make the overhand knot, put it about an inch or so from the end here, so it just kind of dangles down. In fact, maybe a little bit less than an inch. And again, this is just a plain old overhand knot. Pull it tight right there. And then we're going to pull our Pandora bead and let it go down and hit that knot. So we've got a little bit of a dangle there. Now I want to make another knot right on top of this, and I want to make it as snug as possible. And so I'm going to, you know, you can just tie an overhand knot and work it down there, but I have this old knotting trick that I use when I'm knotting pearls, where I make a loop, drop it down. I'm going to hold my thumb on top of that while I keep it tight, and then pull it in. Don't make it real tight, but see the knot's right there on top, and then I take the two ends and pull it down snug right on top of that bead. There, we don't have a lot of looseness there. Now we want to bring our two other little beads, and I'm going to just space those up about 2 inches on each side. So again, just tie it an overhand knot, and I'm just going to eyeball the first one. Don't have to be real exact here. It's the second one that's hard. Whoops. So we're going to pull that knot there, and then we're just going to do the second knot. And I'd like to keep this as close as possible to the first knot. So you just work with it a little bit. How am I doing? Not too bad. It's off just a tiny bit. With this style of a necklace, I don't think that's a big problem. All right, so we're going to thread one of these beads down until it hits the knot. And then once again, we're going to tie an overhand knot. And again, I'm going to do my little knotting thing where I form a triangle, I pull it tight up against the bead, and then as we pull that thread or that cord in, I'm going to put my thumb on top of the knot as I pull the loop in, and that way the knot stays right there on top of the bead. So there's that one. We'll do the same thing over on the other side. Pull it tight. If I ever get around to doing a pearl knotting tutorial, I'll show you how to do this knot even better. So pull it tight, keep it tight, pull it in under your thumb, and then just work it down so that we've got it right there. And basically, there's our necklace other than just putting a clasp on the end. Now just real quickly, I've got this other one over here. And I've been telling everybody that this is practically toolless, but you do need to be able to cut your cord. And for this particular one, the cords don't match. And so I want to straighten that up. And you need a pair of scissors, or in my case, I'm going to use my flush cutters just to cut the ends of the cord. And then I need to seal the ends, and I'm going to use a little torch here. This is a scary torch. It's really hot, and you can't see the flame under these lights. So I'm in danger of setting myself on fire, which the last time I did a video that used the torch, I ended up with burns. Anyway, we've sealed the ends. Then I've got my super glue here, and all you need to do is just either dip this, put the super glue in the end, we put the bead or the cord ends on, then you come in with the jump ring and the clasp, and your necklace is done at that point. But that's just too easy, and it's not very bohemian. So let me show you how to do it with knots. Okay, first thing, we're going to level this up so that the two cords are the same length. One's just a little bit longer than the other. So again, you need scissors, or like I said, I love flush cutters for everything. I'm not going to burn the ends just yet. Anyway, I could just do an overhand knot. You know, just where you do the knot over the other cord and just pull it, and then you've got a slider. But let's do this just a little bit more fun, and it gives us a little more friction too. So we're going to go and make 2 loops. And then bring the cord end around. Whoops, lost it there. And bring the cord end through these 2 loops. Probably should have brought a little more cord in there. And you can see I've got the 2 loops on this side. Then you've got a little cross here on the back. And we pull that tight. And now we have a knot that will slide. A little more friction than if you've just got a single overhand knot. Now we're going to take the other end, the loose end, and we're going to tie a second knot over here. And again, we're going to make 2 loops. There's the 2 loops. We bring the cord back around and bring it through both of the loops. We pull that tight, and there's that little barrel shape on this side, little cross on the back, so you know that you made it right. And so now we've got a double slider here. So what you can do is you can shorten the necklace by opening it up here, but to put it on, you can pull both of them together. Now let's make sure those knots are tight. Don't want the knots to come undone. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to trim the ends. Some people like these ends out like this because then they can grab those to expand the necklace, but you can do the same thing with just by pulling the knots. fact, I'm going to do that. I'm going to leave that sticking out just a little bit. And of course, you can change it later on. But we want to melt the end just so it doesn't fray. These are great torches. I've used them before. If you're interested, they're refillable. They're real easy to use. I have some arthritis in my hand, and sometimes flicking a bic is just a little hard for me, and this just is great, and it's a super hot flame too. So there we go. You pull the two ends together in order to get it on, pull it over your head. Then once it's on, you can make it whatever length you want. So here we finished the two necklaces. This one on this side, we have the jump rings and the cord ends and the clasp. And then the one that we just finished, this one's expandable. You can pull it long for putting it over your head. Then once it's on, you can adjust it to the length that you want. And those are all completed. Again, the link to purchase these kits is down in the description below. And we would encourage you to go ahead. As we said before, this was a prize in our Facebook group contest. We're going to be running other contests, and if you'd be interested in getting involved in that and with the Facebook group, the link's down below. This is the Gemstone Orphanage group. And again, if you enjoyed this video, we appreciate it if you like, subscribe, and click on the bell to be notified of any future videos that we come out with. Thanks for coming, and we'll see you again soon. Bye-bye.